So you want an acting agent. I'm gonna give you guys the step-by-step of how you get an acting agent and in the order that I think you should do it. I've had an agent since I was 12 years old, and this is the order I wish I had done it in. I'm gonna save you from a lot of embarrassment and mistakes. I make acting videos, so if you're an aspiring actress, feel free to subscribe. I'm posting tons of tips. I've already posted a lot, but I'm gonna continue to post weekly, and we're like a community, all helping each other. I try to answer every comment that I get, so any questions you guys have, I'll answer personally to you. We're a little growing community. I've already seen some of my followers literally on TV, so it's really exciting to get to support each other. The first step that I think that you should take to get an agent is find acting classes. Hear me out. I thought I was too good for acting classes when I first started. I thought I was a natural born Jennifer Lawrence. I thought you were either born good or you were born bad, and I didn't need classes. So I regret that deeply. I really recommend getting acting classes first off. I'll tell you a few of the reasons. First of all is community. Community is really, really, really important. Finding like-minded people, just having connections. When you find an acting class and an acting coach to belong to, they will help you along every step of the way. And they're there from the very beginning of your journey up until the very end. So they'll be able to help you get an agent. They'll be able to help you find good headshots. We'll get more into that later. But basically, finding a good acting class with a good acting coach / mentor is going to answer many of your problems. And there's also technical and technique things that you need to learn. You aren't born with the technical gifts, and learning how to work on a set. Just because you can have natural talent doesn't mean you're going to know how to function on a set, because there are a lot of things that go into acting that is not just acting, and terms that you need to know. So long story short, acting classes have completely changed the game for me. You can do, if you don't live in an area with a lot of acting opportunities or an acting hub, but you still want to take classes, you can do online classes. I train at In Studio, and they also offer Zoom classes, so you can do Zoom classes with them. I prefer in person, so if you guys can find acting classes near you, just research it. Usually you can audit a class, which is where you just sit in for free and like see if it's something that you'd be interested in, if it's a class that you feel like you'd fit in with. You know, I don't live in a big area, but I have found the most amazing acting studios, so I'll leave them linked down below. Just research acting classes near you. If you really don't live in an area or can't make the drive, Zoom classes are always an option, and there are so many. I just feel like it's better to be in person to really get that on-camera experience. It's way easier to make connections in person than it is over Zoom. After you find acting classes, you need to start researching the biggest hub near you. So where do you live? Research, do you live closest to LA? Do you live closest to New York? Do you live closest to Charlotte? Do you live closest to Atlanta? You know, maybe even Orlando. Know what your closest acting hub is. I was with an Atlanta agency even though I live in Virginia. And they just knew I was willing to work as local to Atlanta. I've driven all the way down there and back in the same day to go to a commercial audition. So they knew I was committed and was willing to work as local. That does mean that if you book a job and you're willing to work as local, you use the money they pay you for the job to pay for your own housing while you're there. So you do have to be careful about, you know, now with self-tapes, no matter where you are, you can be auditioning, but it is tricky about the working as local and finding an agent that is close to you. You need to look up the biggest hub near you and then start researching acting opportunities, acting classes, all of that. Find your acting community near you. Now, if you don't live somewhere that has anything, that's fine. You will make it work. Just start trying to get in your Zoom classes, and you can even be honest with them and be like, hey guys, like, what do you think I should do? Because now with everything being a self-tape, you really can be auditioning from anywhere, and agencies are way more likely to take you even if you live far away from where they're located. So the next thing that you need to do. You've been in classes for, you know, a little bit. You know your acting coach now. Now is the time to tell them, I think I'm ready to get headshots, because no matter where you are in your acting career, you can always use headshots, and headshots are arguably one of the most important things in your whole acting package. Headshots are your calling card. They're the first thing casting directors see. They're the first thing agents see. They are super important. They're what gets you in the door to get an audition. So headshots are number one most important thing, and headshots are very specific and pretty expensive. So I would talk to your acting coach and say like, hey, who do you recommend? They'll give you a list of headshot photographers that they've used or they know. You can also go to a lot of agencies' websites, and even if it's not an agency you're with or want to get with, they'll have a list of headshot photographers that they approve, and usually those are all reputable headshot photographers. You can't really use like a family friend or someone that does senior photos, because acting headshots are completely different and they are very specific. So you either need to research it yourself by looking on agencies' websites, see who they approve of, or talk to your acting coach and see what they think you should do. I have a whole video on headshots, and if you guys want, you know, a more in-depth how to choose what looks and stuff, I can do one of those, but I did just vlog me getting my headshots done where I answered some questions in that. So next you need to sign up for Actors Access and any other casting sites depending on where you're located and what you've decided your biggest hub is. Just be researching casting calls for this area, say you're based in Charlotte, casting calls for Charlotte, North Carolina, and start to look for where they post those. Sometimes it's Facebook pages, you know, sometimes it's Southern Casting Call, depending on where you live. But the main, most important thing that you need to do is sign up for an Actors Access. Every successful actor has had an Actors Access at one point. I'm 90% sure Jennifer Lawrence was on Actors Access at one point. Everyone's been on Actors Access. That is the #1 casting site that once you do get an agent, they'll use that to submit you. But before you have an agent, you want to get it already set up, have, you know, your headshots on there. If you've done any work, have those in your resume, and you can start self-submitting. So they'll email you casting calls for your area, your age, and your gender, and then you submit yourself to those. They'll do anything from paid SAG work to short films, student films, everything. This is the best way to already be auditioning, getting used to auditioning, and possibly even booking small work. That is good for your resume, that is good for your demo reel. It might not be paid yet, it might not be the biggest, bougiest set, but that's how everyone starts. That's how you get used to being on camera, that's how you get things for your resume, and that's how you get demo reel footage, all which will help you get an agent. I'm not saying you necessarily have to do all of this before you start submitting to agencies, but I think it's the best order to get with a great agency right off the bat. So once you've kind of been submitting yourself, you know, maybe you've been in classes for a while, you feel like you've gotten really good, but you haven't really booked any small work yet for a demo reel, consider getting a demo reel filmed. My mentor Keith actually films demo reels for people, and when he filmed my demo reel for me, I immediately got a Stranger Things audition, which I had never auditioned for a show that big before, but I kid you not, like a week after I had a demo reel attached to my Actors Access, I was getting huge auditions. When you have a demo reel attached to your Actors Access profile, you're automatically brought above everybody else that was submitted for a role. So casting directors can see your headshot, and then they see your demo reel, they can click it, watch a few seconds. Oh, she's actually good. Okay, we'll send her an audition. She's worth us spending our time watching that audition tape. It's pretty hard to get in the door without a demo reel because they don't want to waste their time on someone if you don't have anything on your resume, so they don't know you've worked on the set, and they don't know if you really know it yet, if you're too green. Demo reels are extremely important in my opinion. You don't necessarily need one, but definitely consider getting one filmed. I would talk to your acting coach first and have an honest conversation with them, see if they feel like you're in a place to go pay to get one done, or if you should still train a little bit more, because you don't want to get one filmed and then like 3 months later be like, I am way better than I was then. I mean, you always want to look back and be like, oh, I've improved so much, but also, you know, you don't want to film it when you're a little too green or a little too unexperienced, and then you look back and you're like, I wish I'd waited like 2 more months, now I'm at the good place. You can always film it again. But I'll leave Keith Harris's information down below if you are interested in getting a demo reel filmed. He is on the Southeast, but there are options in LA, everywhere else. You can talk to your acting coach about it. Some acting studios actually film demo reels for you. Mine does as well, so you can also check them out. So once you have a demo reel, a headshot, and possibly even some stuff on your resume, from small work that you've been doing, you can start submitting to agencies. This is the exciting part. Now, you can be doing this pretty much after you've been training for a while and you have headshots, but I mean, I think you have the best bet after you already have maybe a little bit on your resume, and if not, at least a demo reel. If they see you've been training, they'll know like, okay, she's serious about this. She's been training her on-camera technique. You know, they're way more likely to take you if you're trained, especially if you're a kid. They usually will only take you if you've been training for like at least a year. So training is very important. Going back to what I said about knowing your biggest hub, this is when you're gonna start researching acting agencies in this hub. Acting agencies in Charlotte, North Carolina, acting agencies in Atlanta, Georgia, acting agencies in New York, and you're just gonna mass submit to all of them. You see on their website if they have like a form for you to fill out on their website to submit, or if you need to find their email and then just submit through that. But always attach your headshot, your resume, and your demo reel. You can also talk to your acting coach and see if their agency is taking submissions. They might even possibly refer you, which would be amazing. So once you find, you know, what hub or what area you want to start submitting, now if you don't live near a hub, go ahead and submit to either Atlanta or LA, depending where you're closest to, and just submit to all of them and see what, you know, they say, because they could still take you even if you live pretty far away, because everything is self-tape now. You're just gonna have to be willing to travel. You can do research and find websites that have lists of agencies. My sister recently found one that had like 150 LA agencies ranked from like if you're a newer actor to a seasoned actor. I'll link it down below. You know, 150 agencies right there, all listed for you to submit to. So just start submitting to them. And now is kind of a difficult time to submit to agencies because it is pilot season, but waiting for summer, you know, submit now. If you don't hear anything from anyone, don't be discouraged, because this is the time that agencies are the busiest. They're usually not picking people up, but they could need someone that is your perfect specific type, so they might take you. Summer is a great time. It's slower for agents. They're looking for new people, sometimes like November, December, you know, fall season, right before pilot season, they're looking for new talent. Just be submitting, I would say, every like 4 or 5 months. Be submitting to an agency. You don't want to submit to them too much to where they get used to seeing your face and they're annoyed. Definitely leave a little bit of space in between. I've been rejected by the agency I'm with 2 or 3 times, and they just now took me. So I'm with my dream agency now, but I had to submit to them 3 or 4 times. I've had 3 or 4 different agents before them. So it's all about the journey. Everything's in the journey. I'm really happy that I'm with them now. I've improved so much. This is why I say I wish that I had been in classes from the very beginning, because I only started professionally training consistently like a year or 2 ago. So I've improved a lot. I look back at amazing opportunities I got with amazing casting directors before I was so confident and comfortable in myself and in my body in front of the camera, and I know I would do so much better now. That it's so frustrating that I wasn't training back then. Like, I auditioned for my dream TV show many times and I never booked it, and I always wonder, you know, maybe if I had been in classes, you know, it wasn't my part, it wasn't meant to be. But you never ever want to get to the point where you look back and you're like, I wish I had just been in classes, or that amazing opportunity could have happened if I had just been in classes. I am like, great, those casting directors have now already seen me act. They might have written me off from that, even though I've improved so much. Like, you guys would be shocked. I'll post a self-tape like from years ago, like 2020 to now. Insane difference. My sister, after being at our studio for a few months, booked like 2 huge roles. Like, she had on like big TV shows, she had never booked anything. It makes a huge difference. She attributes it all to that. That's kind of my spiel. Get off my soapbox. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of you. Already taking the step to do your own research is going to put you miles ahead of other people, because this is really how you start. I had to deep dive, research everything on the internet myself, because acting industry is such a, like, you know, thing. Like, everyone's like, I want to be an actor, but the actual steps are so confusing. Everyone's journey is different. It's not easy. There is no set way of, you want to become an actor, you go to acting school, you do this, you know what I mean? It's confusing, it's hard, you know. I've been scammed. I've paid agencies when you're not supposed to pay an agent. You're never supposed to pay an agent. They only make money when you make money. But it's just such a like taboo, unspoken thing. You never really hear how to get into the industry. The fact that you're taking a step to do your own research, it says a lot about you, and I think that it's way more likely you're going to make it in the industry than so many other people that say they want to act. If you're taking the time out of your day to research how to actually make this dream happen, if you take these steps, you're going to be miles ahead of so many people, and you're going to be in the door getting auditions that you will not believe you're auditioning for this stuff. I meant to say this earlier. The reason why everyone's dream is, you know, get an agent is there's only so many auditions you can get yourself that are open casting calls. Any big role or any big TV show or movie, they're only casting through agencies. You'll not be able to find those roles on your own, but once you're represented and you have an agent, you're going to be submitted to everything, every big TV show, every big movie ever, and if you get an audition, that's an amazing opportunity. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to be making more videos, so if you guys have any videos that you want to see or anything that's a little fuzzy or confusing, I'll be happy to answer it in the comments. Anything else you want to hear me talk about, you know, in greater detail, let me know. I'm really proud of all of you guys, and I'm so excited to see where you go from here. And check out the links down below, because that'll be headshots, demo reels, resumes, acting classes, anything that I've mentioned in this will be linked down there. But I appreciate you guys more than you know, and I'll see you in the next one.